At the very moment when Alex opened an unknown photo sent from an anonymous number on his phone, he had no idea that his ordinary life was about to shatter into pieces. In the picture, he and a mysterious girl, standing far too close, far too intimate for two random acquaintances. That evening, in an ordinary bar, amid the hum of voices and the dim light, he took his first step beyond the familiar world and became a player in someone else's dangerous game. From that moment on, everything around him started to look different. His wife, his friends, colleagues, even random passers-by. Who is watching him? Who knows his secret? And how much longer can he keep hiding before the truth comes out? But before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments which city you're watching from and what time it is there. It's always interesting to see who has joined us. Now, get comfortable. We're about to start. Alex Parker had never been the type to flirt with temptation. For years, he'd lived by routine. A good job, a pleasant home, a wife who was, if not exciting, at least steady and kind. Yet, on a bright Thursday afternoon, a simple issue with his car would upend the quiet predictability of his days. He arrived at the auto shop just after 3 o'clock. The place was busy, but a cheerful sign, Melissa service assistant, caught his eye at the reception counter. She was nothing like he expected. Melissa was stunning in a subtle, almost unintentional way. Her figure was athletic and feminine, standing about 5 feet 7 inches tall, with long toned legs, shown off by fitted dark blue jeans that hugged her hips. A white t-shirt, just tight enough to suggest a gentle, natural curve to her medium-sized chest, peeked from under a grey work jacket. There was a smudge of oil on her cheek. Her skin naturally sun-kissed. Her features neat and brightened by a set of emerald green eyes. Her hair, chestnut brown and soft, was pulled back in a ponytail that swayed as she moved. A glimpse as she bent to grab a clipboard revealed a delicate line of light pink lace beneath her shirt. Feminine, playful, and chosen, it seemed, for herself alone. Her hips and her backside were round and firm, the kind of figure sculpted by someone who moved through life rather than sitting it out. Alex, by contrast, looked every bit the urban professional. Tall, a little over 6 feet, with dark, carefully styled hair and a trimmed beard. His dark blue jeans and sky blue shirt fit him perfectly, accentuating his slim waist and broad shoulders. He wore a smart leather belt and loafers, a little overdressed for an auto shop, but clearly at ease. He watched as Melissa flashed him a genuine, open smile. "Hey there, how can I help?" "My car's making a sound it shouldn't," Alex replied, suddenly conscious of how he looked. Too formal, maybe even stiff in her laid-back world. "Let me take a look. Do you want to show me?" Her voice was soft, but confident. As she walked outside, Alec followed, trying not to stare at the subtle sway of her hips. They stood together by his car, the heat of the afternoon making the air shimmer. She leaned over the hood, examining the engine, her jeans tightening across her legs. Alex realized he was looking just a bit too long and tore his gaze away. A few mechanics were scattered across the lot. 2 men, one with silver hair and a big laugh, the other younger, wiry, and quiet. There was a woman in her 30s, sleeves rolled up, shouting at someone about a missing part. None of them paid Alex or Melissa much attention, though he felt oddly exposed under the sunlight. Melissa straightened and met his eyes. "You have a nice car. Not many guys look after these old Fords." Alex smiled, relaxing. "I try. It's just acting up." Melissa nodded. "Leave it with us for an hour? I'll call you if I need you." He was about to leave when she added, "There's a cafe next door if you want to wait." Alex hesitated, then found himself saying, "What time do you finish? Maybe you could show me where to get a decent drink around here." Her eyes flickered with amusement, and just maybe interest. "I get off at 7. There's a bar 2 blocks over, O'Malley's. If you're up for it." "Sounds perfect," he said, surprising himself. Melissa grinned, a little blush rising to her cheeks. He wandered to the cafe, but all afternoon his mind drifted to her. The soft line of her jaw, the flash of pink lace, the easy laughter in her eyes. By 6:30, his car was ready. Melissa handed him the keys, fingers brushing his as she did. For a moment, neither of them let go. "I'll see you at O'Malley's?" she asked. He nodded, feeling a lightness in his chest he had not felt in years. At home, he texted his wife, Jessica, that he'd be late. Work ran over, a client needed help. She replied with a simple thumbs up. There was no suspicion in her message, no drama, no reason for him to feel guilty. But he did. He changed shirts, checked his reflection, a touch of stubble, a flash of cologne. He tried to convince himself that this was nothing more than a drink with a new acquaintance. But the anticipation said otherwise. As evening fell, Alex returned to O'Malley's. The place was busy, all worn wood and soft yellow light. Melissa was already at the bar, changed out of her work clothes. She wore a short black dress that skimmed the tops of her thighs, clinging to her curves in all the right places. Her hair, loose now, fell in gentle waves down her back. Her lips were painted dark red, her eyes lined with a hint of smoky color, and a simple silver pendant rested above the soft rise of her chest. Her posture was relaxed, confident. The straps of her dress revealed smooth, toned arms, and as she shifted, a peak of sheer black fabric beneath. A matching bra and panties, Alex guessed. From the slight transparency where the dress pressed against her hips, she saw him and smiled, waving him over. "You made it." He sat beside her, feeling both nervous and thrilled. "Would not have missed it." A bartender, young with a shaved head and mischievous smile, poured their drinks. Around them, laughter and music filled the air. Alex felt the day's tension drain away. Their conversation was easy, almost electric. Melissa told him about her childhood in the Midwest, her love of fast cars and adventure. She spoke with her hands, gesturing animatedly, her bracelet catching the light. Alex found himself leaning in, listening to every word. The rest of the bar faded away. As their glasses emptied, Melissa leaned closer. Alex felt the warmth of her body, the faint scent of jasmine. Her leg brushed his beneath the table. A simple touch, but enough to make his breath catch. He moved his hand to her knee, tentative at first, then bolder, as she smiled and shifted even closer. For a long moment, they sat like that, bodies barely touching, but every nerve alive, both aware that something had changed. He wanted to kiss her, but held back. Melissa's eyes sparkled, as if she knew exactly what he was thinking. The night outside was velvet and warm as they left together. "Walk me home?" she asked, her voice teasing. Alex nodded, unable to say no. As they walked side by side, the city felt full of possibility. He looked at her again, her strong legs, the curve of her waist, the graceful line of her shoulders. She was beautiful, but it was the confidence and warmth that drew him in most. They reached her door and for a moment just stood. Melissa traced her finger along his wrist. "Thank you for tonight," she whispered. Alex smiled, unsure if he should go further. Instead, he just brushed a stray strand of hair from her cheek, letting his fingers linger. "Good night, Alex," Melissa said, her voice low, full of promise. He turned and walked away, heart pounding, knowing that nothing in his life would ever feel quite so ordinary again. The warm glow of O'Malley's bar faded behind them, replaced by the gentle hush of a quiet street. Alex found himself glancing at Melissa in the half-light, the heels of her shoes clicking softly against the pavement. Her black dress shimmered under the street lamps, hugging her athletic frame. When she caught him looking, she gave a small, knowing smile and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. They strolled in silence for a minute, feeling the comfortable tension between them. Alex was aware of every detail. The sway of her hips, the delicate curve of her calves, the glint of silver at her throat. Melissa's perfume was light but intoxicating, mingling with the scent of summer air. "Do you want to come in for a minute?" she asked, pausing at the stoop of a brick apartment building. Alex hesitated. He thought of Jessica, his wife, waiting for him at home, never once questioning his fidelity. But the memory of Melissa's smile, the spark he felt when her hand brushed his in the bar, was too much to ignore. He nodded, following her up the stairs. Melissa's apartment was tidy and welcoming, decorated with a mix of soft grey and pale blue, simple but cozy. A framed photograph of a racing car sat above her desk, and a small bookshelf overflowed with paperbacks. She kicked off her shoes by the door, revealing slender feet and painted toes. "Would you like something to drink?" she asked, heading to the kitchen. As she walked away, Alex's eyes followed her. Her dress, rising just above mid-thigh, showed off the firm shape of her legs and the gentle curve of her backside. Even at home, she looked effortless and striking. "I'm fine," Alex replied, voice a little rough. Melissa glanced back, her lips curling into a mischievous smile. "You sure?" He just nodded, entranced by the quiet confidence she radiated. She poured herself a glass of water, then joined him on the couch, folding one leg beneath her. She reached for the remote, flicking on soft music, some sultry jazz, low and warm. They talked for a while, conversations slipping from casual to deeply personal. Melissa revealed she'd left her hometown to escape a future she did not want. a life mapped out for her by others. She asked Alex about his marriage, his work, his dreams. He hesitated, but her openness drew out confessions he had never voiced. He spoke of feeling invisible, of longing for something that made him feel alive. Melissa reached out, brushing his hand with hers. "You are not invisible now," she said quietly. The space between them vanished. Alex leaned in, cupping her face, fingers brushing against her jaw. Melissa's skin was warm, her breath a little unsteady. Their lips met. At first, tentative, a question unspoken. Melissa's hand slid to his chest, feeling his heart racing. He kissed her again, deeper this time, his other hand moving to her thigh, squeezing gently. Melissa responded with surprising hunger. She shifted closer, her legs sliding over his, the soft fabric of her dress riding higher as she pressed against him. Her arms wrapped around his neck, pulling him closer, her body fitting perfectly to his. Alex's hand trailed up her thigh, feeling the sheer stocking against her skin, and then the bare, smooth warmth above it. His thumb found the lace of her panties, thin, delicate, the kind chosen for beauty, not practicality. Their kisses grew urgent, hands exploring. Melissa slid her dress up over her hips, revealing black, see-through lace panties that hugged her perfectly. Her skin was silky, her body toned and strong, yet soft in all the right places. Alex kissed her neck, tasting her perfume and the salt of her skin. Melissa let out a soft sigh, arching her back as his hands found her waist. For a moment, time seemed to slow. The world was just the two of them. Her, stretched beneath him on the couch, her chest rising and falling rapidly, the dress slipping from her shoulder to reveal a matching black bra, modest yet seductive. Alex traced her side, feeling the curve of her waist, the subtle strength of her belly, the shape of her breast beneath the fabric. Melissa met his gaze, her green eyes dark with desire. She guided his hand to the clasp of her bra, then, with a breathless laugh, reached back and unclipped it herself. Alex stared, entranced by the sight of her bare skin. Her breasts, a perfect handful, neither too large nor too small, with dusky pink nipples that hardened under his touch. He leaned down, brushing his lips against her collarbone, his tongue tasting her skin. Melissa's hands found his shirt, unbuttoning it quickly, hungry to feel his warmth. She ran her hands across his chest, savoring the play of muscles beneath his skin. Their bodies pressed together, a tangle of limbs and whispered promises. Alex paused, searching her face for any sign of regret. But Melissa only smiled, eyes bright, lips swollen from his kisses. She pulled him close, her hands tangled in his hair, and they lost themselves in each other, giving into a desire that had built all night. Later, they lay tangled together on the couch, limbs still entwined, breathing slowing in the darkness. The city outside was quiet, but Alex could not shake the feeling that something fundamental in his life had changed. Melissa traced lazy circles on his chest. "Was it what you expected?" she asked, voice playful. He laughed softly, pressing a kiss to her forehead. It was more. "You are amazing." She propped herself up, letting the sheet fall away from her bare shoulders. Her hair was mussed, lips still parted, her skin flushed from their lovemaking. "Do you want to stay?" Alex hesitated. The reality of his marriage crept back into his mind. But the look in Melissa's eyes made it difficult to walk away. "I should go," he whispered, regret mingling with satisfaction. Melissa nodded, but her smile was understanding, not hurt. She handed him his shirt, brushing her lips across his as he dressed. They exchanged numbers, though neither spoke of what might come next. There was an unspoken promise, a spark not yet fully explored. When Alex finally stepped outside, the air was cool against his flushed skin. He walked the empty street back to his car, replaying the night over and over in his mind. There was guilt, yes, but also excitement, a sense that he had rediscovered some lost part of himself. The next day at work, he struggled to focus. Melissa's scent lingered on his hands. The memory of her touch distracted him from every task. When his phone buzzed with a message, "Last night was fun. Maybe we could do it again sometime." His heart skipped. All afternoon, his mind raced with questions. Would she tell anyone? Was this really just a fleeting escape? And what did it mean for the life he had built so carefully? Meanwhile, at the auto shop, Melissa was different too. She greeted her co-workers with an easy smile, her step lighter, her cheeks flushed. She wore her usual uniform, tight jeans, a white t-shirt, but today her hair was left loose, tumbling over her shoulders. She chose her favorite pink lace lingerie, the memory of Alex's hands on her body, making her shiver with pleasure as she dressed that morning. In the garage, her friend and co-worker, Angela, a dark-haired woman with sharp eyes and a teasing mouth, gave her a knowing look. "You look happy today," Angela said. Melissa only shrugged, but could not suppress her grin. The day dragged on, each of them lost in thoughts of the other, both unaware that someone else had noticed the sparks between them. That night, Alex lay in bed beside Jessica, her soft breathing a reminder of the stability he risked for a night of passion. Jessica was beautiful in her own way, slender, with honey blonde hair and calm blue eyes. She slept in a satin nightgown, the pastel fabric gliding over her skin. Alex watched her, guilt twisting in his chest, but also something new. A realization that for the first time in a long time, he felt alive. He checked his phone one more time before sleeping. Another message from Melissa. "I cannot stop thinking about you." He smiled in the dark, knowing that the story between them was far from over. Alex woke the next morning with a sense of unreality, as though the night with Melissa were a particularly vivid dream. The world outside was drenched in early sunlight, the ordinary sounds of life on his quiet street echoing through the open window. Jessica was already up, the faint aroma of coffee drifting from the kitchen. He sat up, stretching, replaying the memory of Melissa, her bare shoulders, the way her body curved against his, the way she smiled afterward with a mixture of shyness and boldness. He checked his phone. A single message glowed on the screen. "Good morning, Alex. thinking of you already." His heart raced at the thought. He typed a brief reply, erasing it, then finally sent, "Me too. Last night was unforgettable." He tucked the phone away, guilt and excitement twisting together in his chest. Meanwhile, Melissa stood at her dresser in the morning light. She wore a short silk robe in sky blue, her hair loose and a little messy, face fresh without makeup. Her skin still tingled where Alex had touched her, and she smiled at her own reflection, at the curve of her hips, the gentle rise of her breasts, the glow in her cheeks. She chose her favorite lingerie again, this time in soft lavender, the bra lifting and shaping her medium chest, the matching panties hugging her athletic frame. She slipped into fitted navy pants and a pale pink blouse, accentuating her waist and shoulders. Her body was alive with memory, but beneath the thrill was a flicker of unease she could not name. At work, Melissa tried to focus on her duties, but her mind wandered. Angela noticed, as always. "You're off in your own world, Mel," Angela teased. Her own dark hair tied up, face angular, eyes mischievous. She wore tight jeans and a black tank top, her own figure striking and fit. "Just didn't sleep much?" Melissa replied, forcing a smile. She did not mention the dreams she had replayed all night. Of Alex's hands on her skin, his lips at her collarbone, the way that her body arched into his touch. She remembered too vividly the urgency in their embrace, the way her dress had slipped away, bearing her to him, his breath hot at her ear, his hands stroking up her thighs along her waist, cupping her breast as she gasped, their bodies moving in rhythm. She had shuddered at his touch, feeling both wild and cared for, the boundary between them melting in the dark. The memory alone was enough to make her shiver as she stacked paperwork and answered calls, heart racing at every thought of him. After lunch, her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. It was a photo. Melissa's breath caught as she opened it. A grainy image of her and Alex at O'Malley's bar, unmistakably close, his hand resting on her knee, their faces turned to each other in the golden light. Below the image, a short message. "Does your friend know he's being watched?" A chill ran through her. She looked around the garage, half expecting to see someone staring at her. No one seemed to notice. She texted Alex immediately. "I just got a weird photo from someone. Us, last night. I do not know who sent it." A few seconds later, Alex's reply appeared. "Me too. Same photo. Who would do this?" Melissa glanced at Angela, wondering if her friend had seen anything. She tried to act normal, but the rest of the day felt dangerous, like walking a tightrope. Alex, too, was thrown off. He ducked into a conference room at work, staring at the photo. Who would take such a picture? He barely remembered the bar being crowded. A knot formed in his stomach, a prickling paranoia spreading through him. He scrolled back through memories of the night. The bartender, friendly, yes, but not intrusive. The couple in the corner, had they been watching? He could not remember their faces. The rest of his day passed in a blur. Jessica texted him about dinner plans. He replied automatically, mind far away. Melissa went home early, unsettled. She changed into a pair of black yoga pants and a simple white tank top, her hair in a ponytail, and stared at her phone. She considered blocking the number, but a strange curiosity kept her from doing it. Another message arrived in the evening. "You looked happy. Does he make you happy?" She shuddered, locking her phone away in a drawer. The next morning, she met Angela at a coffee shop. "Someone is messing with me," Melissa confided, eyes darting. Angela leaned in, her features sharpening. "What happened?" Melissa showed her the photo, hands shaking slightly. Angela's eyes widened. "That is messed up. You think it's one of the guys from the shop?" "I do not know. I feel watched, and Alex is married." Angela looked sympathetic. "Mel, you know I will help. If you want me to talk to anyone." Melissa shook her head. "Let us just keep an eye out." Melissa felt exposed, fragile. For the first time, she wondered if this adventure had gone too far. Meanwhile, at home, Alex noticed Jessica looking at him differently that morning. She wore a pale blue dress that highlighted her tall, slender frame and fine features. Her blonde hair fell in loose waves, her blue eyes searching his face as he finished his coffee. "You seem distracted lately," she said, her voice soft but direct. "Just work," Alec lied, meeting her gaze. Jessica smiled faintly and turned away. He watched her walk into the sunlit hallway, graceful and poised, feeling a pang of guilt. She was beautiful, always had been, her body delicate, her style elegant, her presence calm. He had loved her once, he thought. That afternoon, Alex drove to the auto shop, anxiety pressing at him. He found Melissa in the break room, away from prying eyes. "Did you get another message?" he whispered. Melissa nodded, arms wrapped tightly around herself. "Whoever it is, they are enjoying this. I do not know what they want." Alex reached out, touching her hand gently. For a moment, all the tension dissolved. Just two people lost in a storm. "Maybe it will stop," he said, though he did not believe it. For a moment, they simply looked at each other, drawn together by fear as much as desire. Melissa leaned into him, her hair brushing his cheek, her lips warm on his skin. Alex held her, their bodies fitting together in a moment of wordless comfort. He pressed soft kisses along her shoulder, her skin smooth beneath his lips. Melissa closed her eyes, breathing in his scent, letting his hands move along her back. For a brief, stolen minute, it was just them. No threats, no eyes watching, only the heat between them. Melissa pulled away first, regret heavy in her gaze. "I cannot keep doing this, Alex. It is getting dangerous." "I know," he whispered, "but I do not want to stop." That night, Alex lay awake, Jessica sleeping peacefully beside him. His phone buzzed once. "Do not let her get hurt," the message read, from that same unknown number. He stared into the dark, heart pounding. Who was doing this? And why? Melissa, too, could not sleep. She sat by her window, knees hugged to her chest, looking out at the city. She wore a loose grey t-shirt and soft shorts, her hair falling in waves around her face. The memory of Alex's hands on her, the warmth of his body, comforted her. But the fear would not leave. She thought of the photo, of the messages, of the way her life, so controlled and simple, now felt like it could spiral at any moment. She wondered if this was the price for a taste of something real. She remembered again the night in her apartment, how Alex's lips had traced her body, how his hands had cupped her breasts, how their bodies moved together on the couch. She remembered the sound of his breath, the way he whispered her name as he held her close. The tenderness and hunger mixed in every touch. Even with danger closing in, she could not help but ache for him, for another moment like that. But the story was no longer just theirs. Someone else was involved. Someone who watched from the shadows, waiting for the next move. For the first time, Melissa felt a flash of real fear. This was no longer a simple secret. Someone wanted to use it against them. And in that moment, she knew her life would never be the same. Melissa's apartment felt different in the days that followed. She started locking her door twice, checking her phone anxiously, and drawing the curtains as soon as dusk fell. The city outside seemed to buzz with hidden eyes and whispered secrets. Still, beneath the nerves, she caught herself smiling in the mirror, remembering Alex and all the ways he had made her feel alive. Every morning, Melissa chose her clothes with more care than usual. Today, she wore a crisp white blouse tucked into a dark, high-waisted pencil skirt that emphasized the curve of her hips and her slim waist. Her favorite lavender lace lingerie felt soft against her skin, giving her a secret boost of confidence. She finished the look with black heels that made her calves look long and lean. Her hair was swept up in a loose, messy bun, a few strands framing her cheekbones. When she glanced in the mirror, she looked older, wiser, and, she admitted to herself, a little bit dangerous. At the auto shop, her co-workers seemed unusually quiet. Angela, who usually greeted her with a smirk or joke, only offered a quick, concerned glance. Melissa noticed two mechanics, tall, bearded Tom and short, broad-shouldered Jake, whispering near the back. Their eyes darted her way and then quickly away. Melissa's heart pounded. Had someone at work seen the photos? Or had they simply noticed her change in mood? She tried to focus on her tasks, but the sense of being watched was impossible to shake. In the break room, she pulled out her phone to check for new messages. None. Still, she felt eyes on her. Angela slid in beside her, clutching a coffee mug. "You okay?" she asked quietly. Melissa hesitated, then nodded. "Just a weird week." Angela squeezed her hand, her grip strong and reassuring. "Let me know if you need backup." Alex felt the tension too. At home, Jessica seemed more distant, and even his colleagues at the office seemed to sense that he was distracted. He found himself thinking constantly of Melissa, her smile, her body, her scent. But every time his phone vibrated, he braced for another anonymous message. One afternoon, a new text appeared. "You think secrets stay buried, but someone always knows." Attached was a blurry photo. Melissa, alone on the sidewalk, glancing over her shoulder, clearly unaware of being watched. Alex's chest tightened with dread. He forwarded the message to Melissa. "Did you get this?" A minute later, she replied. "No, but I keep feeling like someone is following me." "I hate it, Alex. What do we do?" Alex wanted to protect her, to rush to her side, but he felt powerless. He stared at the photo, looking for clues. A street sign, a reflection in a window, anything to identify the watcher. But there was nothing. That night, he went for a walk, mind whirling with thoughts. The city felt unfamiliar, filled with shadows. He remembered the thrill of Melissa's touch, the way her laugh made him forget the world, the softness of her skin beneath his fingers. Melissa's anxiety built as the day wore on. She left work early, heels clicking on the pavement, pulse racing. She glanced behind her every few steps, sure she'd see someone lurking, but the street was empty. Her phone buzzed just as she reached her building. "Nice skirt. You should wear it more often." Melissa spun, heart in her throat, but no one was there. She rushed upstairs, slammed her door, and pressed her back against it, chest heaving. She called Alex. "I cannot take it anymore," she whispered, voice shaking. "Whoever this is, they are getting closer." "I'm coming over," Alex replied, voice fierce. "You should not be alone." Within half an hour, he was at her door, breathless and determined. The moment he saw her, standing in her work clothes, eyes wide and fearful, something in him snapped. He took her in his arms, holding her tightly. "Melissa, I am here. I will not let anything happen to you," he promised. She melted into his embrace, letting his strength steady her. "Please, just stay," she whispered. That night, they found comfort in each other. At first, quietly, simply needing to be close. But as the fear and adrenaline faded, the longing that had been building for days took over. Alex undressed her slowly, reverently, kissing each patch of exposed skin as he slid her blouse from her shoulders and eased the skirt down over her hips. Melissa's lavender lingerie looked luminous against her skin in the soft lamplight. Alex ran his hands along her waist, then down the curve of her backside, pulling her close. Melissa responded in kind, unbuttoning his shirt, tracing her fingers along the muscles of his chest and stomach. She kissed the hollow of his throat, tasting his skin, her hands growing bolder. They moved together onto the bed, limbs entwined. Melissa lay back against the pillows, her hair falling loose, her body arched to meet his hands and mouth. Alex kissed her collarbone, her chest, lingering over the delicate lace before easing it away and letting his lips explore her bare skin. Their movements were slow at first, savoring each other, but soon became more urgent. Alex's hands holding her hips, Melissa's legs wrapping around him, their bodies moving in perfect rhythm. Each gasp, each sigh, was a promise to keep the world at bay, at least for tonight. Afterward, they lay side by side, skins still touching, fingers interlaced. Melissa felt safer, the presence of Alex's body grounding her in the midst of chaos. For a few hours, they escaped. But the real world was waiting. The next morning, Melissa woke to the sound of her phone buzzing. She reached for it, groggy. The message was short. "You look so peaceful when you sleep." Melissa dropped the phone as if it burned her. She looked around. Her curtains were drawn, but a crack in the window let in a sliver of daylight. Had someone been outside watching? Had they seen her with Alex? Alex was still sleeping beside her, his arm draped over her waist, hair tousled, face soft in the morning light. Melissa hesitated, not wanting to wake him, but her fear pressed in. She got up quietly and peeked outside. The street was empty, no cars or pedestrians. Yet the sense of being watched was stronger than ever. She dressed quickly. Soft blue jeans, a pale sweater, her favorite sneakers. She left her hair down, a small rebellion against the fear that tried to shape her. When Alex awoke, she told him about the message. He sat up, eyes hardening. "This is not a joke anymore," he said. "We need to find out who is behind this." They agreed to be careful, to watch for anyone suspicious, and to avoid meeting in public for a while. But both felt a terrible vulnerability. Whoever was playing this game seemed to know everything. At the shop, Melissa noticed Angela and the other co-workers still whispering. She tried to act normal, but paranoia crept into every conversation. That afternoon, another photo appeared. This time, a picture of Alex's car parked outside her building. The message read, "Secrets always find the light." Melissa felt a cold sweat break out on her skin. She confided in Angela at lunch. "I think someone from work is doing this. They know too much. Maybe one of the guys?" Angela's brow furrowed. "I do not trust Tom. He's always hanging around, asking weird questions." Melissa nodded, but felt no closer to an answer. She wondered if Angela herself could be trusted. Was anyone really on her side? She left work early, nerves frayed. She found herself glancing in every reflection, every window, searching for that hidden watcher. That night, alone in her apartment, Melissa sat on her bed, knees pulled to her chest. She wondered if she should call the police. But what could she say? That someone was sending her creepy messages, taking photos, watching from the dark. Would anyone believe her? Her phone buzzed once more. "You will never guess who I am, but I see everything. And I am not finished." Melissa's hands shook. She locked every window, pulled the curtains tight, and curled beneath her blanket, feeling like a child again. For the first time, she questioned if the thrill, the excitement, the sense of being alive was worth this. But then, she remembered Alex's touch, his whispered promises, the way his presence made her feel brave. She clung to that hope, even as the mystery closed in. Somewhere in the night, she finally fell asleep, dreaming of strong arms holding her safe against the shadows. For days, tension simmered just beneath the surface of Alex's life. The fear and uncertainty seeped into every moment, every glance, every careless word. At home, Jessica grew more distant, her usual calm now clouded by suspicion. Alex could sense it in the way she looked at him. The extra seconds her gaze lingered on his phone, the way her lips pressed into a line when he told her he would be late from work. One evening, Jessica stood at the kitchen counter, slicing vegetables with methodical precision. She wore a soft grey dress, her blonde hair tied back, blue eyes sharp and unreadable. "Who is Melissa?" she asked suddenly, her voice steady but cold. Alex froze, pulse thundering. "She is a friend from the auto shop. She helped with my car." Jessica's knife paused. She turned, arms crossed. "Do you always meet friends from the auto shop after hours? Does your work really take that long?" Alex's mouth went dry. He wanted to deny, to invent a harmless story, but something in Jessica's face told him she already knew more than she let on. Jessica set the knife down with care. "Someone sent me photos. You and her. At a bar. Together. Then another. Your car outside an apartment. Care to explain?" Alex's stomach dropped. The world seemed to spin out from under him. "It is not what you think," he began, but she cut him off. "I think you have been lying to me, Alex. I think you have been seeing someone else." Her voice did not crack. She did not cry. Instead, she was frighteningly composed, like a judge about to deliver a verdict. Meanwhile, Melissa sat in her apartment, heart racing, staring at her own phone. Another message had arrived. "Game over soon. Are you ready for the truth?" She did not know what that meant, but she felt a chill sweep through her. Every muscle in her body was tense, waiting for something to snap. She paced her living room, dressed in a long, soft sweater and fitted leggings. Her hair was tied back, face bare, but her natural beauty only seemed more vivid, the color high in her cheeks from stress. She wanted Alex, wanted his reassurance, but could not risk texting him again. Jessica and Alex faced each other in the kitchen. Alex's words tumbled out, sometimes honest, sometimes desperate. "I never meant for it to go this far, Jess. I felt invisible. You and I, something changed. I do not know when. Melissa made me feel alive again. I'm sorry. I am so sorry." Jessica listened, arms still folded, her face unreadable. "I want you out tonight," she said at last, voice like steel. "I need time to think." Alex gathered a bag in silence, his mind numb. He left the house, his home, and got into his car. Only one place felt safe: Melissa's apartment. When he knocked, Melissa opened the door instantly, relief and worry in her eyes. She wore her soft sweater, her legs bare beneath it, her skin glowing in the warm lamplight. "Are you all right?" she asked, pulling him inside. Alex shook his head. "Jessica knows. Someone sent her the photos. I have nowhere else to go tonight." Melissa hugged him tightly, her warmth chasing the cold from his bones. "We will get through this," she whispered, her breath soft against his ear. The intensity of the day poured into their embrace. Their lips met, desperate and searching. Melissa led Alex to the bedroom, where she peeled away his jacket and shirt, her hands moving over his back, his shoulders tracing the lines of muscle beneath. Alex undressed her gently, worshipfully, sliding the sweater off to reveal the delicate curve of her body, the matching set of lace beneath. A deep wine red, elegant and sensual. Her breasts fit perfectly in his hands, soft and warm, her nipples hardening under his touch. Melissa climbed onto his lap, wrapping her legs around him, her body pressed close, her breath mingling with his. Their lovemaking was slow and intense, a release of every emotion they had been holding back. Fear, longing, relief, and a desperate hope for something lasting. Their bodies moved together in the dark, skin on skin, hands exploring, mouths finding every secret place. When they finally collapsed into each other's arms, the world seemed quieter, the storm momentarily at bay. Afterward, they lay in silence, Alex's arm draped over Melissa's waist. She traced circles on his chest, her mind spinning with questions. "I wish we could just disappear for a while," Melissa said softly. Alex kissed her hair. "Me too, but I have to fix what I broke." They talked quietly until sleep claimed them, but both woke in the night to the sound of a phone vibrating. Melissa grabbed hers first. A new message, but this time it was different. "A confession will set you free. Look outside." Melissa slipped out of bed, pulling on a robe, and padded to the window. She peered down into the street, expecting shadows, maybe a lurking figure. Instead, she saw a police car parked across the road. Its lights were off, but a uniformed officer stood by the door of the building, speaking into a radio. Melissa's heart leapt. Was it a coincidence? Or had someone finally called for help? That morning, Angela called. Her voice was trembling. "Melissa, I'm sorry. I have to tell you something. Meet me at the coffee shop, alone." Melissa dressed carefully. Jeans, a soft navy sweater, comfortable flats. She left Alex asleep and hurried to the cafe. Angela was waiting, fidgeting with her phone, face pale. "I should have said something sooner," she began, eyes brimming with guilt. "I overheard Tom and Jake talking. They found out about you and Alex. Tom got jealous. He has had a crush on you for months. He took those photos. Jake helped him send the messages." Melissa's jaw dropped. "Why? Why would they do this?" Angela's voice shook. "Tom wanted you to be scared. He thought you would break it off with Alex. He thought maybe you would choose him instead." Melissa was furious and relieved at once. "This is insane. Why would he think?" Angela shook her head. "Some people cannot handle rejection." "I'm sorry, Mel. I should have warned you." Melissa hugged her tightly, grateful for her honesty. She went home and told Alex everything. "It was Tom. He did all this because he wanted me to be with him." Angela confirmed it. Alex felt a rush of emotions: anger, relief, even a strange gratitude that the threat was over. "Should we call the police?" he asked. Melissa shook her head. "I just want him to stop. I want my life back." Alex nodded. "We will figure it out together." That evening, Jessica called Alex. Her voice was quiet, resigned. I will not divorce you. Not yet. But things have to change, Alex. We need to talk when you are ready. Alex agreed, unsure what the future held. In the days that followed, the harassment stopped. Tom avoided Melissa at work, his gaze downcast, while Jake quit without saying goodbye. Angela remained a loyal friend, her support unwavering. Melissa and Alex continued to see each other, but the urgency faded. They learned to savor quiet moments, walking in the park, laughing over coffee, touching hands beneath the table. Sometimes, when fear or regret threatened, Melissa remembered the feeling of Alex's arms around her, his whispered promises in the dark. She knew the future was uncertain, that nothing could be as it was before. But she also knew that she was stronger, braver, and more alive than ever. And Alex, having faced the truth and its consequences, felt the slow beginning of hope. Hope for forgiveness, for understanding, and for the chance to build something honest from the wreckage. They stood on the edge of something new, their lives forever changed. But the weight of secrets at last beginning to lift.